Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books, and I've been covering Disney and Avatar pretty closely, but I was surprised to read that apparently James Cameron agrees with Thanos, and he believes in Thanos' concept of mass murder and depopulation. This article comes from Bounding Into Comics. James Cameron says he supports Thanos' mass murder and depopulation agenda. I thought he had a pretty viable answer, James Cameron said. Let's get into this article. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel, click the bell for notifications, and give me a thumbs up. Avatar: The Way of Water director James Cameron recently admitted he supports mass murder and the depopulation agenda of Marvel Studios' fictional character Thanos. Because, why not? Is this something that seems reasonable? Does this make you want to go out and see Avatar? I mean, maybe this guy doesn't need as much influence as he has already. In Avengers Infinity War, Gamora explains Thanos' outlook on life, saying, "The entire time I knew Thanos, he only ever had one goal, to bring balance to the universe by wiping out half of all life. He used to kill people planet by planet, massacre by massacre." Later in the film, Thanos further explains his worldview to Gamora, while discussing his culling of her home planet. While Gamora asserts she was happy on her home planet as a child, Thanos countered, "Going to bed hungry, scrounging for scraps. Your planet was on the brink of collapse. I'm the one who stopped that." He continued, "Do you know what's happened since then? The children born have known nothing but full bellies and clear skies. It's paradise." Gamora retorts, "Because you murdered half the planet." Thanos counters, "A small price to pay for salvation." He goes on to explain, "Little one, it's a simple calculus. This universe is finite. Its resources finite. If life is unchecked, life will cease to exist. It needs correction." When Gamora says Thanos doesn't actually know this, he responds, "I'm the only one who knows that. At least I'm the only one with the will to act on it. For a time, you had that same will as you fought by my side, daughter." Speaking with Time, Cameron fully endorsed this evil worldview and ideology, telling the outlet, "I can relate to Thanos. I thought he had a pretty viable answer. The problem is nobody is going to put up their hand to volunteer to be the half that has to go." Just a couple of comments here. First of all, this premise that the universe is finite. I thought the definition of the universe is it's always expanding. It doesn't seem to be contracting, right? I mean, if there's been an update, and because I don't make movies about water creatures, maybe I don't know that, but isn't it, let me know what you think in the comments below. Isn't the universe expanding? It's not really contracting. And additionally, even though resources are limited, no matter what your circumstances are, always resources are limited. It's the utilization of the resources, and it's the sharing of technology to do better food production, for example, which we have figured out over the years. You would think from planet to planet, they could share technologies if they wanted people to not have to be hungry. There's any number of ways to solve the problem other than killing half of a population. Additionally, if people in a society don't actually collaborate, it doesn't matter how many resources they have. They're going to fight with each other until one of them is in control of the rest of them, and it's going to just be kind of a war. In Infinity War, during a flashback sequence, Thanos' shock troops forcibly separate the Zehoberrians into two sides. One of the sides is then brutally gunned down by Thanos' forces. Later in the film, Thanos takes it upon himself to obtain a fully powered Infinity Gauntlet and snaps his fingers in order to wipe out half of all life in the universe. Cameron's comments to Time came during a discussion about the production on Avatar: The Way of Water switching to a catered vegan food supply so they couldn't be seen as hypocritical when lecturing oil companies. Cameron explained, "We couldn't lecture oil companies and turn around and eat hamburgers. Why are they lecturing oil companies in the first place?" In order to enact the decision to switch to vegan food, Cameron appeared to shroud his dictatorial decision via a council circle. Cameron relayed, "We all sat down together in a council circle. I said, this is what I want to do. If everyone wants to start screaming and throwing stuff at me, maybe we won't do it. But if people grudgingly nod, then we're going ahead." According to Time, no one objected and the council grudgingly nodded. Cameron's comments and his clear pushing of this evil is indeed just that. It's evil. Killing billions of people in order to save the planet is evil and wrong. The Catechism of the Catholic Church, quoting St. Thomas Aquinas, teaches, "An evil action cannot be justified by reference to a good intention. The end does not justify the means." It further notes there are concrete acts that it is always wrong to choose because their choice entails a disorder of the will. For example, a moral evil. One may not do evil so that good may result from it. St. Paul also addresses this philosophy, writing, "And why not say, as we are accused and as some claim we say that we should do evil that good may come of it? Their penalty is what they deserve." Cameron's comments come after he claimed in an interview with Esquire Middle East that he's sickened by what's happened with guns in our culture. He stated, "I look back on some films that I've made, and I don't know if I would want to make that film now. I don't know if I would want to fetishize the gun, like I did on a couple of Terminator movies 30 plus years ago in our current world. What's happening with guns in our society turns my stomach," he continued. "I'm happy to be living in New Zealand, where they just banned all assault rifles 2 weeks after that horrible mosque shooting a couple of years ago." To this end, Cameron claims he cut around 10 minutes of footage featuring gunplay from Avatar: The Way of Water. He relayed, "I actually cut about 10 minutes of the movie targeting gunplay action. I wanted to get rid of some of the ugliness to find a balance between light and dark. You have to have conflict, of course. Violence and action are the same thing depending on how you look at it. This is the dilemma of every action filmmaker, and I'm known as an action filmmaker." So what's interesting about the end of this story, and again, a great article from Bounding Into Comics, is James Cameron is willing to put violence out in the world, in his point of view, violence and action, because he's an action filmmaker and he wants to be able to make his films, because it's more important that he gets to make his films the way he wants to make them than to sacrifice making violent films as far as Cameron's concerned. It's okay for half of the world to give up their lives so that the other half could supposedly be more prosperous, but God forbid James Cameron should just take the millions and millions of dollars he has, maybe donate some of that to a good cause, and live in his own castle really comfortably somewhere, rather than put more violence into the world, because, well, he feels like he wants to indulge himself to put out his violent movies. I think he's ridiculous. I think he's lost his mind, but that's just me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think Thanos was right? Do you think Thanos has a point? James Cameron is Team Thanos. Maybe Marvel, with their great leader Kevin Feige, didn't really figure out how to make enough of an example of why Thanos was wrong in the movie, which is why this meme "Thanos was right" was really big a few years ago. Would love to see what you think in the comments below. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.